Asian Power magazine caught up with the IPPF Secretary General Joel Laykin to talk about what's happening with IPPs in the power industry in Asia.
Alright, we're here with Joel Laykin from the IPPF.
We haven't changed at all in terms of our initial concept when we started this thing. In year 2001 was our first year. When we launched, the idea was really focused on problems that independent power investors and developers had in the People's Republic of China. However, huge changes have taken place with the industry since then, and in a sense, our mandate has changed. Barely 4 months into the existence of IPPF, IPPF is invited by then Stuart Ballard and Barry Friedman of Foreign Commercial Service to go to our very first meeting with Asia Development Bank in Hawaii. And the scales fell from our eyes. We saw the burning bush. We realized that the potential for our kind of organization is far beyond just the borders of China. And we rapidly became a pan-Asian, working with ADB, IFC, eventually WTO, UN, all this alphabet soup acronym. But all kidding aside, what has happened is we still retain our basic principle of transparency, working toward cleaner regulatory environment for investment. But originally it was all about private power. We've gone through another change because several companies have joined us that are not owned by private companies. A Vietnamese entity called Viet Power, a South African entity called City Power. So where is IPPF now? All over the world, but focusing on Asia. So how do we define Asia? Not just metropolitan Asia, but all across. Pan-Asian, South Asia, Central Asia, far, far West Asia, into the Gulf. More and more emphasis on the massive changes taking place in technology. When we first started, it was a simple world. Big smokestack, big iron. You have a party gathering people involved with new energy and sustainable. You get a bunch of guys wearing ponytails and earrings. Today, it's all pinstripe suits. The lawyers smell the money first. They drag the deal makers in. You know, in fact, what has happened is, of course, green power, clean energy, sustainable, those words will probably disappear in 5 or 6 years because the whole energy industry will become like that. It's kind of like the disappearance of the word compact car before you were born. Detroit came out with a compact car. Then within 5 or 10 years, all cars became compact, so they don't hear that anymore. And so basically what's happened is, and we're at the head of the parade, because we like to feel that we're on top of it with leading-edge high-tech providers that are members of IPPF. We just picked up a new member from Spain that focuses on providing IT solution, the massive impact of IT that brought about the cracking of the genome will bring about the cracking of the coal conundrum, will bring about massive changes, whether it's a hydrogen economy or clean coal processed of the mine, will bring about a total change in the structure of where energy and power comes from. And IPPF is involved with all of that. Well, we would like to think we're working toward more cross-border cooperation. Our whole event that we just did with Viet Power was all about the vertical cooperation, Mekong, from Yunnan. Mekong meanders around, takes in Laos, Cambodia, Burma, Vietnam, Thailand. That's a great example of cross-border cooperation. In South America, they're looking at this. And in Europe, actually, I think in the Mekong, they're kind of ahead of the rest of the world. The way but then again, they're all landlocked. Like Thailand got 6 countries they border on. The Philippines, Indonesia, a bit different because they're all like islands, so they can't enjoy that same kind of cooperation. But Philippines, Indonesia has another interesting asset. They call it the Ring of Fire, all the volcanoes. So you've got all different kinds of solutions. Meanwhile, when you talk to the guys who have been around pipeline and people have been in it for 40 years, the idea, the conventional wisdom is there's no way that alternative, sustainable, today can fill the needs and demands of what consumers want with a good lifestyle. They want air conditioning. 400 million Chinese are waiting for the new Buick. What, you're not going to tell them they can't get in the new Buick. So what are you going to do? We can't, half a century ago, then 160 million Americans created an acid rain situation that was horrible. So if 400 million Chinese step into brand new Buicks, they better do it with engines that are not going to pollute the environment. So we got some huge changes taking place. But I want to make a point there. We always still revolve around the making of power, whether it is private power or public power. So we may be doing a name change. Pakistan is one of the 3 countries that we focus on as a country focus. In fact, you're interviewing us here at Powers in Asia, where Pakistan, along with I think a couple of other countries, are country focused. Now, Indonesia, Philippines, Thailand, of course. China is very difficult. At the moment, we talk to most of our members, we want to get into China, they say, but they don't know how to do it. But we've got members that, if they watch what our members that have done it successfully, like Maya Power, AEI, Golden Concord, they're in China. Patience, patience, and more patience. At the moment, it's very difficult for traditional power developers to move into the PRC marketplace because the laws and regulations, either officially or unofficially, favor the Big Five. We know that. But China does have an open door policy for leading edge new technology. But we feel it's very important for people making market entry into China with new technology to protect themselves as much as possible. Otherwise, they will find the new technology somebody else's technology, and they will find it suddenly, oh, but that's our invention. But this slight modification here, a little fine-tuning there, and it becomes something with Chinese characteristics. Mass-produced, massive, huge market, economy of scale, like happened with telecom. So what's going to happen with China is, I think it's advisable to work with people that know the marketplace. We have a lot of expertise both within our 41 members plus the 12,800 people on our constituency list. We're happy to help advise people on how best to approach. The proper way of entering the China market is to bond with a safe, fairly transparent, hopefully, Chinese company, because then they have an investment in you with a new technology, and they're going to be better placed to protect that technology if you're in step with them. Plus, we like to see more Chinese companies coming out of China, investing overseas. There are many going into South America right now, Costa Rica, Guatemala. It's a little esoteric, like, well, China Hongyang bought Tuas, or controller Tuas in Singapore, as you know. We want to encourage more of that.